This hot dog really hit the spot, and it was definitely the right choice before heading off to the Super Book Off. So let's hit it. Here we are, the Super Book Off Bazaar in Kobe. This is out by the water, by the bay there. And as you will see, actually, first of all, I'm always excited to go to these shops just because they're so massive. And I usually have high hopes. If you're a sneakerhead, if you're into Zippos, they got all that stuff. We're going to go straight to the games. Let's not waste any time. This is the first showcase, all about the PlayStation, PS4, PS3, PS5 Pro. Look at this thing. Look at that. But I'm not sure if that's new or if it's used, but it's pretty much the same price as a new PS5 Pro. We saw some PSPs there, a Vita. Let's just keep it moving here. And anyhow, I'm always excited to go to these kinds of shops just because you never know what you'll find. And, they're going to have a proper gaming section. They're going to have a junk section. And then in between that, they might have a few things that are just kind of in other aisles, just kind of random stuff. But here we have a variety of Nintendo handhelds. Everything from the DS, 3DS, new 3DS. And, first of all, you're going to see like some vertical bars there on the image as I mistakenly adjusted like the shutter angle there. But anyhow, ignore that. We got a GameCube controller, a transparent one, which is rather nice. Now, the one that's in the box, that's like the half transparent, half indigo one. And at that price, that's actually not too bad for in the box. Here we have the Swan Crystal. We got some Wiimotes, and there's a Super Game Boy 2 back there, which was coming in at $4,500. Now, I'm not sure if this place is tax-free, but I imagine that it would be. It's not exactly close to any train station. I was lucky enough to get a ride from a friend that lives out here. So thank you very much, Brian. Really appreciate that. And yeah, let's just keep going through this. And I did have a pickup here. Now here we have the twin stick for the Dreamcast, and then we have the old attachment here for the Dreamcast. Now this thing is common. If you're into the karaoke, whatever you want to call it, it's common. I see those all the time now, especially around like the Kansai area. But here we have some Super Famicom games. We got Area 88. What else do we have here? We got some Goemon 2 for 4,500 yen. We have Part 3 there for a similar price, about 5,000 yen. Super Metroid, Sun Faded, but it is, 7,000 before sales tax. We got Winds of Thunder here. And I think they had like a Spriggan Mark II. I can't exactly remember, and it's a little bit hard to see. Because I'm in the hotel, I don't have my second monitor, so I'm looking at it through this tiny screen on my laptop as I do the voiceover. But here we have Turtles in Time, Makaimura. Now, Turtles in Time, that price, it's actually lower than what I'm used to seeing it at. Usually it's hitting closer to the 30,000 mark. And then this is a pretty nice PlayStation Vita, the color there. We got a variety of Bandai Wonder Swans and some DSs in the back there, with a few of them having some decor, some, what do you call that, some flair. A Game & Watch there. And look at the price of this Switch. That's actually not too bad, but there is going to be some issues there. And it's going to be the same. This is kind of like their premium junk case. Like, for example, that PSP at 1480, it's missing the analog stick, among other things. I believe it wasn't reading UMD discs as well. But if you get a PSP, as long as the memory card is working, you're going to open the doors to quite a bit of functionality, if you know what I'm talking about. And then here we have, what do we have here? Is that a new 3DS or just a standard one? Not really sure what these things are. And then we got, what is that, an MSX? An MSX2, and then we have a 3DS. Now the Game Gear, look at the price on that. It's 10,000 yen, 10,000 and some change. Now, I picked that up. And let me tell you, it is pristine. It comes with all the books. Even like the styrofoam is like perfect. Not discolored. It's not even missing any little bits and pieces. It was really in excellent condition, especially given its age. Now the box had a little bit of creases, but overall super happy with that pickup. And as a matter of fact, I think at the end of the month, maybe I'll do a pickups video of everything that I've picked up so far in Kansai. And it's looking like I'm going to be here till April, possibly well into the summer. So I'm definitely going to be exploring more of Hyogo. I'm going to make my way out to Hiroshima, Shikoku, hit up some of the prefectures out that way, Gifu. So expect more videos from the surrounding prefectures. And then here we have Donkey Kong Returns HD. Now, if you're after like Switch games and all the new stuff, I really wouldn't recommend coming out here because it is a little bit of a trek. Unless you're into like other items like, the vintage clothing, the sneakers, the Zippos, all that stuff. You can do multiple, just shopping across multiple departments and whatnot. But they had a pretty decent selection, Now the pricing, sometimes Amazon will have them beat, Gale will have them beat. Wonder Goo is a great place for all things that are new, especially if you make a reservation there, because usually Wonder Goo will have some exclusive bonuses. What do I have here? The Naruto Trilogy. What is that? 4,500 yen. Next to that we have Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Now this one I want, but I want to get that one either on the PS4 or the Xbox One. And I definitely want the Master Collection. That's going to happen on the PS5. Now here we have El Shaddai. I picked this one up in Namba, and it's less expensive out there. 2,600 yen is what I paid. In fact, I will be covering that store as well as the one in Shinsaibashi. So stay tuned because we got a lot more. I'm going to hit up as many game shops as I can. And that includes the ones out in Kyoto. What do we have here? Xenoblade 3. I'm looking forward to that Xenoblade Chronicles X. I had that on the Wii U, and I was playing through it, and then in the middle of my playthrough, I ended up moving out to Japan. So looking forward to that. But look at that. There's so many Switch games here. My goodness, I love seeing that. But here's like the retro. A small display case in the middle there. Well, not so small, I guess. It's just spread out between, 5 sections there? 4 sections? Let's see what we got here. We got some Mario Bros. 3. And then we have Metal Slug Second Mission. In the previous episode, we saw First Mission. That one's coming in at 6,000. We got some Gradius, whatever you want to call it, for the Game Boy. Another copy here. And that's actually a really good version of the game. I definitely want to get Nemesis 2 on the Game Boy as well, and that one's going to be a little bit pricier and a little bit less common than the first release. And what do we have here? Star Force by Tecmo, coming in at 2,300 yen. Quite a bit of loose Famicom carts. And because time was limited, I'm not really going to be digging in the carts there like too heavy. But an assortment of Famicom games. What do we got there? Ninja Gaiden. That's a great game. And then like I said, it's a little bit hard for me to see. I need to get a bigger screen here. But we got some Sweet Home in the back there, and that's coming in at 14,000 yen. And then we have some Kid Dracula. So not a bad selection there. And a whole bunch of Super Famicom loose carts as well. We got X3 there for 1,800. There's a few other spots that are going to have it for slightly less. But if you're here and you don't have plans to go anywhere else, that's actually not a bad price. And there's a whole bunch of Goemon games. Now, Part 2 is really good. My favorite is Part 1, but Part 2 is a close second. Great game, that one. And both of those actually got a release on the Game Boy Advance, although the Game Boy Advance kind of butchers the original music. They had a copy there of, what was that, Mega Man 2. We got some Tiny Toons. Got some old Ronald McDonald action there. And a copy of Rockman 6. And there's another copy of 2. What's the price there on 2? 16,000. Now, I will be showing the Surugaya in Honjo, Saitama, which I filmed a few months back. It's a little bit old, but it's definitely, I think, one that's worthy of just releasing anyways. Man, I got so much stuff to release. But anyhow, Super Street Fighter 2 for the Super Famicom. Great game. I want to pick up the Genesis version just because I love collecting all things Street Fighter. Really hardcore into that stuff, especially the older titles. We got some Rockman Soccer. You know, I've never played this. Never played it, but I remember seeing it at Cutting Edge, which is the rental video store where I would rent video games way back in the 90s. Cutting Edge, and I would also go to National Video. Oh man, the sweet memories. What do we have here? Garou Special. I do like that one, and I actually prefer the PC Engine Super CD-ROM arcade version. It's a great little port, and it has bigger sprites. I think overall the Super Famicom version might be a little bit smoother, but you know the PC Engine version definitely has its charms, and a whole lot of Rockman here. My goodness, which is that's always a plus. But as you can see, it's just a whole bunch of stuff here. And then we got some PlayStation 2, some Wii U, and of course the Xbox. Let's see. And then you know it. I'm telling you, this game, Metal Wolf Chaos. Very common game, and it's usually that price, 12,000 yen wherever you find it. In fact, I'm going to be showing off a book off where they had like 4 copies of it. And Metal Wolf Chaos did get an HD re-release, which is available on the PS4 and the Xbox One and PS5. But I haven't played it myself, but I definitely want to play it at one point. What else do we have here? I'm not really sure what this is. A futuristic, kind of funky-looking game for the original Xbox. And then we have Overg for the 360. Which seems to be in line with like an Ace Combat style of game. And then Alan Wake, I love this version. I prefer this version over the remastered version. They kind of really messed up Mr. Wake's face. But a great game. A crazy game too. And then we have the Uncharted Trilogy Pack or the Dual Pack. With the little gold foil slip cover. We got some PSP. What else do we? Some PlayStation 4. And yeah, just kind of, man. At this point, when I was, just kind of, I was thinking because I was like, should I get that Game Gear? And yeah, I pulled the trigger on it. But we're gonna make our way now. I like to point the camera down because I have a huge camera, and like people get really. They get really nervous when they see the kind of camera that I'm rocking in these places. But this is another section, and they had just a few PlayStation VR sets, some arcade sticks, but it wasn't the section that I was looking for. I was looking for the junk section. But this was certainly a nice surprise. We got some cameras up in here. Now, these Super Book Off Bazaars, it's another great place to get, like, vintage digital cameras, film cameras, camcorders, all sorts of stuff, audio gear. Now, these headphones, these Sony, these MDRs, I have a pair of those, and they're totally worth it. Now, here we are in the junk section. Here we go. We got a Sega Dreamcast for $34.80. Now, that fell, but I caught it. Cat-like reflexes. And they had some pretty good stuff in here, I have to admit. And we will get to that here shortly. $34.80 there with a little bit of a discount on the Slim. And same thing here. I recently picked up a 7000 series Arctic White PS2 Slim, or a white PS2 Slim, for 1,000 yen. But that was back in Saitama. I'm telling you, Saitama's a little gold mine for stuff. And then we got some silver cubes. Now, next to that, look at this. The arcade stick. Now, that's the lowest price that I've seen the arcade stick in months. $4,480. Now, I did open it up, and that thing was like super clean. As a matter of fact, like the plug, it still had like the protective wrapping from the factory on it, and like the bottom like rubber feet were intact, perfect. So I'm wondering if that's like a hardly used or some new old stock. But that arcade stick was a beautiful thing. Now, I didn't pick it up because I definitely, I'm staying in a hotel, and it's going to be a while before I can go home. So I'm going to be hauling my pickups, but it'll be there. So if you're after a Sega Dreamcast arcade stick, hit up this place. But all sorts of little stuff here. And, you know, like I said, the Sega Game Gear, that was definitely the highlight. Super happy with that pickup. And, guys, I've been hitting up so many book offs. In fact, after I filmed here, I went to another book off. And that'll be, I guess, the next episode. But there is certainly a lot more coming. A lot of great stores here in the Kansai area. And I think after I cover a few more, I'm going to be making my way out to other prefectures. So stay tuned because there is plenty more retro gaming in the hunt action coming your way. So until then, I'll see you very, very soon. Ciao.